slap has become just as much a part of Japanese New Year as visiting a shrine or buying an expensive osechi that nobody actually eats. However, unlike that last fact, Masahiro Chono is known internationally, thanks to the vast popularity of Gaki no Tsukai's No Laughing series. But unless you're a big fan of wrestling, you may be wondering, just who is he? And how did he get there? Hi, I'm Giorgio Japan, and I like to bring you information that's not readily available in English. Today, let's take a look at the man behind the slap, Masahiro Chono. Masahiro Chono was born in Washington in 1963. His father worked for a big paper manufacturing company, and that's probably why he was there. He spent the first 2 years of his life in Seattle, Washington before coming back to Japan. They moved around a bit, but mostly stayed in the Tokyo area. As a child, he was really into soccer, and throughout most of elementary, he was like the soccer kid. But it was around in junior high school when his attitude started to change, and he kind of fell in with more of the delinquent crowd. Just a guess here, but I don't think he was too happy in following the delinquent crowd. No, I think he wanted to lead it. In high school, his delinquency escalated, and he was a part of a bosozoku, this kind of like, scooter gang. He'd ride his scooter late at night, really loud. He didn't study, and he'd go out and party a lot. He was by no means a model student, and in his last year of high school, he failed his university entrance exams. After that, he took a year off to study. I'm not exactly sure how much he studied. He was still hanging out with his biker friends, and although he was home more, he just wasn't interested in studying. But I guess he did enough, because he was able to pass the entrance examinations to this university. But I'm guessing this is around the time he started getting interested in wrestling. It said he was a big fan of Tiger Mask, so much so that he began thinking about pursuing a career in wrestling. His father strongly advised him to go to university. This is just some speculation, but I think Chono thought, well, there's nothing for me in university. And getting a university degree, well, there's nothing I want with that degree. On the day of the university entrance ceremony, Chono didn't show up, and he dropped out. At a young age, he had a vision. He saw himself being a wrestler, and he was ready to do whatever it takes to become that. He trained hard and got into the New Japan Pro Wrestling in 1984. The old delinquent Chono had changed quite a bit. In his early years of wrestling, he had a very different image. He was like a good guy character, and he was very stoic in his training. While on tour, it said he wouldn't go out after events. He would go straight back to the hotel room and rest. He wanted to be in peak physical condition for matches, and he didn't want to put himself at risk going out. Chono's strong work ethic and dedication to wrestling was quickly noticed, and he was asked to tour around Europe and then eventually America. I'd like to note that while touring Europe, he met a German lady, who he married in 1991. During his time abroad, Chono had carved out a name for himself, and after a big win in 1994, he decided to do a character switch. He became a bad guy character. He adopted his Yakuza gimmick, and he's more like the persona we know today. This image change proved very beneficial for Chono's career. Not just in wrestling, but this very badass image got him a lot of advertising deals.
Very American.
You can find Chono's face promoting a wide variety of products in Japan. And in 1996, Chono was brought into the NWO in its peak popularity. Upon returning to Japan, he would start NWO Japan. And I think they made a lot of money off of them t-shirts. Chono had become a superstar in the wrestling world, and as he continued to move up, he started organizing and promoting events. And in 2007, he stopped wrestling full-time. I'd like to note that I believe 2007 is his first appearance on the No Laughing New Year's special. He was really branching out and doing more things. In 2010, he went freelance, and finally retired from wrestling in 2014. That same year, he began working with NHK and starred in this very popular kids TV show. I actually watched this with my daughters and thought it was really trippy to see him on a kids show. In recent years, he's working on events for regional disaster prevention and teaching people how to use an AED. Chono has stated that the reason why he's so passionate about this is that he lost a fellow wrestler back in 2005. This wrestler suffered a brain hemorrhage. Chono had just spoken to him a few minutes prior, and Chono always wished there was something he could have done to help him. If people are better prepared for emergency situations, particularly knowing how to use an AED, well, the world would be a better place. And I think that's very admirable of him, to use his star power to help people like that. As for Chono's life story, he found what he wanted to do in life so early on. Finding your true calling is something some people struggle with their whole lives, but he knew right away at the end of high school that he wanted to be a wrestler, and he didn't stop until he got it. It would have been easy for him to just settle and go to that university, but he didn't want to settle. He wanted his dream, and for that, I think Masahiro Chono is a total badass. And that's about all the information I got right now. Thanks so much for watching, and have a glorious day.